started. I'm Richard Smith, Calibre Home Inspections, inspecting homes and protecting dreams. Here to answer any questions for you. We've got a beautiful day out this morning. We've got beginning of spring, and I just thought I'd be here to answer any questions for you. Hey, Alexis, thanks for
Hey,
being here.
thanks for having me.
All right. Well, do we have any questions come around this week when you're
No,
calling?
not really. It's been kind of a quiet week, I guess, but the easy as the inspections are to read, there's not too many questions.
Right. All right. Well, very good. I'm sure everybody is going to be getting out there in the good weather.
Oh, I hope
Uh,
so. I'm sure they will get all that vitamin D up.
yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to go through my maintenance tips. You can get this online on my website and print off 8.5 by 11 and post it by your garden tools or something so you can check it. I have it broken down by winter, spring, summer, fall, and beginning of spring. Let's talk about the spring items. Let's just run through these. Um, First of all, let's it's about time to look at your dryer vent. There's some outside projects. Just find your dryer vent on the outside, make sure there isn't a lot of lint clogging it. Make sure the that flap is closed when it's not running. I had actually birds go into my dryer vent, and it
Oh
was propped
gosh.
open when it wasn't blowing. And we were sitting on the back deck, and my wife says, "Hey, a bird just went in the house." So had to clean that out. And fortunately, it was all right at the outside. So I just got a glove on, a ladder, a glove, and reached in there and pulled it out. Next, debris from windowsills. You're probably going to want to have the windows open, so you might as well open the windows and wipe the windowsills down. It holds moisture, so when you do get a blowing rain, it gets moist or real humid, then that dirt and any debris will actually hold moisture and rot your windowsill out quicker. Um, Inspect your roof from any kind of wind damage, storm damage. Uh, if you're outside walking around your property and you see a roof shingle on the ground, well, you know you got a problem. Uh, the winter storms sometimes they'll lift up the shingle, and if it gets lifted up and then it blows a couple times, it'll bounce, crease it back and forth, and then a wind will blow it off. Cleaning out the gutters is a good way to find those broken shingles. So in that case, just call a roofer. Usually it's just a little maintenance and replacing that one little shingle. Let's see, what else do we have? Check the operation of your sprinkler heads if you have them. Uh, if you put new seed down, you're gonna want to keep your lawn watered. So I'd run it through a cycle. You get a nice day, run it through a cycle, and make sure all your sprinkler heads are not hitting the house and watering the areas you want it to water. Make sure they're all in working order. Treat for bugs just before, well, might be just a little late, but I like to do it right on March 20. That's when boring bees are out. They start right on the first day of spring, give or take a day or two, I've noticed.
Jeez.
And
Aggressive.
get those traps out. They're coming. If they're not at your house right now, they're coming.
Mm.
Let's see. Test run that generator again. Make sure you got backup gas for your generators. And if you're going to store the gas any length of time, make sure you put a treatment in there so it remains good gas for some length of time. Do your research on that. I usually swap my gas out once a year, even with the preservative in it.
Mhm.
And the way I swap it out, I don't pour it out in the yard. I go through the pains of getting those real large gas tanks and putting it in my truck after a year, so it's still good gas. And then I fill it up again. So I have fresh gas in my gas tanks all the time.
Normally you wouldn't think you would need a generator in spring, but these past few years have been stuck with a hurricane. So many people
Right.
were out in places that hurricanes don't even normally go. So that's just something to say to be a little extra prepared.
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
Mm-mm.
The places you think you least expect, well inland, you have a hurricane and then North Carolina gets wiped out.
Yeah.
Okay, gas up generator. This is all in your checklists. Um, if you're so inclined and you have a crawl space, it's time to gear up and go through there, make sure nothing is leaking and you don't have any critter activity. A good way to find access holes for critter activity is from the inside on a nice bright day. Go inside and look at your foundation walls at the bottom, around your vents, and if you don't have a perfect intersection with walls, that's where you would get maybe a little gap and you'll see daylight coming in. And that's how your critters get in. Little mice, little rats, snakes, big enough for raccoons, possum. I've seen a skunk in there. So check, make sure all that's sealed up properly. Let's see. All right, you're going to be running your AC. If you hadn't run it already, you're going to be running your AC again soon. So find your air handler. Furnace unit has part of your air conditioner in it that creates condensate. So there is a condensate line on your coming off of your air handler and should have an opening just above, just right near the air handler. Something, if it has, it looks like it has a cap, then just twist that cap. That isn't glued on. That's just to keep debris from that area. And um, pour some Drano, a little bit of Drano, a little bit of bleach or something. If you have that, your condensate line draining out near a garden area, well, then you might want to get on the other end and try to capture that bleach or Drano that's coming out so you don't hit your garden with that. But if water sits in it over the winter, then it could corrode, solidify, and create a blockage. So then you'll get a bigger, more urgent maintenance call on your um, AC unit. It took mine 6 or 7 years to clog up the first time before I started having to clean that out. But I do it yearly, right about now, springtime. And it is the best time to service your AC unit if you have an AC guy that you like to come in because you want to make sure it's got a good charge and it's ready to go for the hot summer months. Let's see. Get through the attic also. Keeping safe, get through the attic and as best you can. If you have a new house, your insulation is probably nice and flat, smooth, like freshly fallen snow. That's what it should look like. Over time, it gets bumpy. And if you look carefully and get a flashlight and hold the flashlight low and look over the insulation, you'll see trails going through the insulation. And that's evidence of some kind of critter. It could be a number of things. Typically, I would call it squirrels. And that's how you know you have squirrel activity. If it's bad, you'll see the droppings. And if it's real bad, you'll see big areas about the size of 2x2 section that it's all bedded down. That's where they sleep. So you can do your own inspection on your attic and get rid of those critters. Let's see. Now you're supposed to do this. I don't know anybody who really does this, but in your electrical panel, you've got breakers, and you're supposed to test those breakers. I don't test my breakers. I should.
Oh, we do.
Do you test them?
Yeah, well, we tested them obviously before we moved in.
Right.
We tested them after we moved in, and then let's see. We're trying to add, and I don't know exactly. Ryan knows more about this than I do. He's trying to make a bigger breaker. I don't know, change it out for a bigger breaker or something. I don't know, but
Okay.
he checks it pretty regularly.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
But we're still figuring out what goes to what in this house.
Right. They should be labeled. Um,
Yes.
that's a convenience thing and an emergency thing, but
Hmm.
it's more convenience. Electrical systems compared to days of old, they're they're very safe. Um, you could have some fires. It happens. It's particularly if the wires are loose at the connections. They create an arcing when they're calling for electricity. So that arc will tend to have it to overheat. And that's where the fire starts. It'll start melting the plastic. And that smells like a dead animal, actually. I've had that before too. Um, and and you might be able to find it yourself, but it's an electrician's call. They can trace down the problem real easy and fix it, make sure it's all safe. But you are supposed to flip your breakers, make sure they work. That's the GFCIs on the outside. Those are little receptacles with a reset button. So you should trip those. There's a reset and a test button. So you should hit the test button, it'll pop. You just push back in and make sure it works. You can just carry around a little desk lamp or something and plug it in, make sure it works. If I don't have a tester at my desk, it's on my truck, but they're little testers. They're cheap. About um, they're about $10, $15, and you can put it in, make sure it's wired properly. Sometimes things change. I have three-way switches that all of a sudden don't work. It's like, oh, can't they make a three-way switch that'll last more than 5 years? You'd think so. So, and then go to your breakers, and there's little test buttons in your breakers on newer homes, and just hit those little test buttons. Go right on up. There is a nuisance of this just because you have to reset all your clocks and your stove and any of those electronics. Just make sure you don't have anything sensitive on your computer you're worried about, type thing. They have battery backups, but you don't want a little spike if you can avoid it. And then the breakers that don't have the test buttons, you should just pop them off. Make sure just pop them off. And then if you do touch it and it pops off and it ends up straight, then you got to actually push it all the way off and then put it back on. So just flip them, make sure they're all in towards the center of your electric panel and everything is on that way. All right, let's see. We're getting close. All right, refrigerator coils. Underneath your refrigerator, there's a little panel that you can pop off. And then you can get in there, and that's where you find all your refrigerator magnets that slide under there, or um, Fritos and Doritos that get kicked underneath the refrigerator. And then you can get all that out. You can get like maybe a yardstick. Really get in there and try to drag as much stuff out as you can. You can get an extension with a vacuum and vacuum all the dust off the coils. It makes your refrigerator more efficient. So it will keep your foods um, cooler, better. Refrigerator coils. And then the last one I have is check all plumbing lines for leaks. Doesn't take long. If you have a leaky handle or a drip in your faucet, now I fix those. You should fix those. But that's not near as important or elevated to a higher need to get fixed if you have a leak in your drain or your supply cutoffs underneath your sink. So you get in there, best thing to do is just turn everything on above. If you can't see it, you can reach in there and feel and see your hand should not be wet at all. And then touch around the drain and around the supply cutoffs. And when you're in the crawl space, you're looking for that also. You're looking for any kind of leaks, drips. If you have someone else to help you with this little project, when you're in the crawl space, have them turning on the water. Uh, so the drain will be running while you're down there checking. And that's about it for your big spring maintenance tips, maintenance tune-up to your house. A lot of this we do in a maintenance tune-up. Uh, we have other services than just inspecting homes for buyers. So you can check our website. You can go to the website to get our list. We do have other services and even engineering services for
I feel like
those
this
of
would be
you.
good too for a property manager. You've got a rental property before anybody moves in. It'd be a good time to come in and check.
Yep, that would be a good spring check is a real good one for property managers.
Mm-hmm.
Changing over renters in your own property that if you have a number of properties. So, any questions come up with that?
Not that I'm aware of. Nope. I didn't hear any. So I missed some of it because Terry had called me.
Oh,
So I swapped over. So if
okay.
you address me at any point, that's why I did not respond.
Got it. No, we were just running through the spring maintenance tips. Feel free to check that out. And we'll see you next time. Richard Smith, Inspecting Homes and Protecting Dreams. Thanks for joining us.
Okay.